Actually, I was thinking, and I hope this doesn't sound too strange.
It's not.
Okay.
No.
But and I hope so my mother loved music, and I thought it would be nice. I heard you all sing, and I thought if we could sing, because it's the one song that I do know that I think works for both faiths, truthfully, and which is "Let There Be Peace on Earth." So if that would be nice, I thought it would be nice, and maybe she'll hear that, and maybe she'll bring us peace on earth.
Yeah,
So
I'll use that.
So I would love that.
Ready?
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
So, again, I just want to thank you all. I'm so special. This was so very, very special. And, as I told you, when she died in Israel, which was in 1991, I said, how am I ever going to return to see her? And God has a way of working miracles, in my opinion, and brought me back with my work about 30 times.
31 because
31. This is 31, but this wasn't my. This is.
Please be accurate. Somebody's
That's
watching
right.
you.
That's okay. All right. And here, it was 7 years ago that I came the last time, and I was still working, and then I retired, and then when Bobby approached us and said, we really want to go to Israel, and Barb, we want you to be with this incredible family. I said, okay, Mom, you're doing this again. And here I am, and I'm sure she'll bring me back more. And so I just want to say thank you, and I know how much she would appreciate all of this, and she loved Israel. Like I said, she was very well educated. You talk about knowing the history of Judaism. She really knew her stuff, and she was truly what I would call a woman of valor, and she did her best on earth, and
Help create a beautiful pattern too.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Thank you.
We couldn't have done this with better people.
No,
Thank you, Randy.
You guys are just wonderful.
We love you guys.
yeah.
How do you pronounce your last name?
My last name is so it's Malavin.
Wow.
Yeah. And her father's a Violet Love, but this says her Hebrew name was Devorah, and her father's name was Yaakov. So it's
Deborah and Jacob, yes.
Deborah and Jacob, Devorah, Yaakov, Malavin, right? And can you
Vishavu banim levulam, and the children has returned to their land.
exactly? So what I share that story with you too. so she
Should we
died.
sit down?
She
No, joking. No, I'm joking.
She died, but when she died in Israel, I believe it's the story of Rachel, correct?
Right.
So Rachel yearned for her children, Joseph.
She passed away
right?
after she gave birth to Benjamin.
Correct, and to
Two boys.
return to Israel.
Right.
And I was unfamiliar with that phrase, and so what happened was my mother dies in Israel, and my sister and I randomly saw a little necklace the next day. Actually, we were here, and as I told you, she was buried right away, and it had that phrase on it, and I happened to ask, what does that say? And so when we had to make the decision to bury her here, we said to have our children and grandchildren know that their grandmother's buried in Jerusalem. What could be better than that?
Awesome.
And so that really helped us too when we made that decision. So.
An incredible chain of events.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful story.
And
Yeah,
this
it's just
wonderful gentleman here knows Uri Miller. Uri Miller was part of the Chevra Kadisha, the Sacred Burial Society, and he was the one who immediately showed up at the hotel when the hotel learned that she had passed away early in the morning.
Wow.
And it was on, as I said, Friday morning, and it was early in the morning, and he came and he said, she was healthy, she went to sleep, she was kissed by an angel, she was on a journey to Jerusalem, and we would like to bury her here, but it's going to be Shabbat, and it has to be done by 1 o'clock. So there we called, and here we are. So she'd be happy to know she's here.
Yeah,
So,
that's a gift. So that was a gift.
Enjoy the moment.
second day, and we had been in Budapest 3 days. She did not die in Budapest. She did not even die. She didn't even die in Tel Aviv.
She was born where?
She was what?
Where
She was born here, but her in the States, but her mother and father were from actually a smaller town outside of Budapest. Yeah. So.
And their parents moved together as a couple. They got married in the.
So my grandfather, she was one of 4 children, and her oldest brother was born in Hungary, and they came to America around the early 1900s, and
Ellis Island, probably.
Pardon?
Through Ellis Island.
Yes, correct. And then my grandfather served in World War One.
In the American forces.
No, in the Austro-Hungarian Navy. Wow. And so they come to America. My grandmother doesn't speak a word of English, only Hungarian, and she.
It's Hungarian. It's Hungarian.
Hungarian. And she has
the proper accent.
At the time, she has a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old. No, yes, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old. My mother is 18 months old, and my grandmother is pregnant with my aunt, and her husband dies of the pandemic.
Spanish
He was, and she's left.
Yeah, Spanish flu.
My grandmother is left with 4 small children under the age of 7. She can't speak a word of English. My mother's 18 months old. She never knew her father, and my grandmother's pregnant with her younger sister. And so my grandmother, had to go to work. That was all she could do. She's left with 4 children. She's got to raise them, and believe it or not, her oldest son became a doctor. So it's quite an amazing story of immigrants. Yeah. So yeah.
They don't take life for granted.
No.
For sure.
No. So thank you, and
Well,
Mom,
thank you
for
for
sharing.
guys.
You could have come on your own, but thank you for.
I really, and I'm so grateful that you all wanted to. So
Oh, of
that
course,
really-
of course.
When you get home, we would love to. If you take a picture of her, we.
Oh,
That's what I was gonna ask.
absolutely.
Can we see what
Because
she
I'm
looks
sure
like?
you look
Definitely.
like a lot
I
like
have
her.
one on my phone.
Okay,
I
great.
Oh, you do? That would be so
Yeah,
good to
yeah.
see.
Thank you.
Bye, Mom.
You.
Bye, Mom.
Mary, your mom.
Love you, bye. Say, do you want a moment by yourself?
Yeah, I just a little moment.